What is the Egghead Incident? Egghead has been the arc with so many twists and turns, even I don't know what can happen next. The biggest plot is an event that takes place tomorrow in the One Piece timeline, with an actual Gorosei, Saturn, and tons of Marine highlighted by the Admiral Kizaru on the way to Egghead Island. What will the Yonko Luffy and his crew of amazing combatants do? Or even the CP0 awakened beasts like Rob Bellucci and of course Kaku. Then there's the surprise element that we've come to expect in the One Piece story. So stick to the end to find out what is this huge Egghead Incident. Now of course chapter 1078 gave me the Ace versus Blackbeard vibes of how that event triggered the Marineford War that we've come to know and love. So there's a lot of hope and expectation that the Egghead Island incident, regardless of what it is, which we expect to be crazy on the Ace versus Blackbeard level, will cause a Marineford War Final Saga hype moment when it comes to arcs. Of course, when it comes to around the world, the Revolutionary Army now has Sabo, who's getting love and fame. Of course, later on we see Imsama use that amazing weapon to destroy the Leloucha kingdom that Sabo was on, and Sabo actually found out that the Empty Throne does have a actual person that runs the entire world. Then of course there's the whole Amazon Lily incident where we had Blackbeard, we had Boa Hancock, we had Kobe, we even had Silver's Rayleigh pulling up, but that all led to Kobe being kidnapped by Blackbeard. Of course, after Wano, another amazing event is Luffy telling the Straw Hat Pirates his true dream, seeing their reactions, because we all know Odin and Whitebeard, their reactions to Roger's dream, which is the same as when it comes to Luffy's dreams. And of course, Red Hair Shanks was on the Roger Pirates and he shed tears hearing Luffy's dream. So we all are excited to see what that is. Then of course, during Egghead Island, there was Law versus Blackbeard. And that was Law, who recently is awakened as the Devil ability and has gotten improved it after defeating the Yonko Big Mom, versus Blackbeard, who has 2 Devil abilities. And there's some hints to him having some crazy hockey. Or Garp telling, of course, Helmeppo to come on board because we're going to save Kobe. Pretty much Garp is going to take on a Yonko. This is the first time Garp has taken on a character this strong since he fought Goldie Roger in his prime. Then there's the events that a lot of people are not talking about, like Stussy. Of course she's cloned, but Stussy and her son Weevil, who's claiming to be Whitebeard's son, who of course went into a battle with Green Bull and lost and got kidnapped and sent to Elpel Down, and now she's asking Marco to help her. Or the recent, of course, Eustace Kid versus Shanks on Elbap, which gave me chills. Yeah, I love the Law Blackbeard stuff, but the Eustace Kid Shanks one, the build up to it, of course him losing his arm to, which is implied, Ben Beckman. This event is going to go crazy because you know Elbap is a future arc the Straw Hat Pirates will be involved with. Now, of course, the Egghead Incident is the main focus, and this all started 3 months ago as revealed in the last chapter. We find out who the traitor is. It's, of course, the Vegapunk we least expected, York. She snitched on the, of course, Vegapunk research and whatnot. And now we have a war imminent with Saturn, a Gorosei making his way. The first time the Gorosei has ever made a move while escorted by Kizaru. And then of course there's the surprise effect of Yonko Luffy showing up. You have to understand that Kainu and the Gorosei that we've seen in this chapter were just completely shocked that Luffy in his Gear 5th form is making waves now. And of course they're comparing this to Ohara. We all know Ohara was destroyed. Ohara was what motivated Monkey D. Dragon to make the Revolutionary Army, and of course because of Vegapunk's research into the Void Century, and Egghead actually has the defense. That's why they're bringing all these reinforcements. It's not just gonna be a Buster Call with 5 Vice Admirals. We're bringing Gorosei and Admirals because of their defense. And probably the most interesting aspect that I didn't talk about yet is York, the traitor. She wants to be, of course, a Celestial Dragon, which shocks Vegapunk. The desire to be a Celestial Dragon, which we all know Celestial Dragons have been a big part in the One Piece story, all the way from the Void Century to, of course, God Valley with Roxy Zebek. So there's definitely a lot of hype there. Now, of course, one thing that I think is going to happen is we're finally going to get it. Monkey D. Dragon will meet Joy Boy, or should I say his son, Monkey D. Luffy, in his Gear 5th form. I think this could be a moment where, remember how Shanks came into play in Marineford? I think Monkey D. Dragon can definitely make an appearance and help out the Yonko. Imagine a Yonko needing a help, but Revolutionary Army leader Monkey Dragon, of course, is, in my personal opinion, Yonko level. So this is going to even become crazier. I wouldn't be surprised personally to see Saturn the Gorosei actually fight Monkey D. Luffy. Saturn has a crazy scar on his face, and I made a video about this prior that I believe that scar was done by Joy Boy during the Void Century, because I think the Gorosei are from the Void Century. But that's a whole nother video for another day, and I think a fight between Gearfist Luffy and Saturn would be crazy. So if Saturn is fighting Luffy, you're probably thinking who's gonna fight Kizaru, because Kizaru versus Luffy is what everyone's thinking. I'm thinking I won't be surprised to see Zoro and Sanji team up, because we all know we love that dynamic of the wings of the Yonko Luffy or future Pirate King Luffy, and them going up against the Admiral Kizaru. Now, of course, me personally, I'm a fan lover, or how to say is a fan favorite fight for me is Kizaru versus Sanji, but I think Kizaru right now is stronger than individually Sanji and Zoro, so I think them teaming up would make it even more crazier. Now, an icing on the cake for me is if Imu comes out of nowhere, and just like Lucia Kingdom, the hype of Imu destroying Lucia Kingdom, Imu attempts to destroy Egghead Island Arc. Now, whether Imu does it or not, I personally believe those Straw Hats will escape before anything actually happens. And probably the most shocking idea is Vegapunk dying. Don't forget when Shaka was speaking, of course, to Dragon, talking about, I see my death coming. Shaka is logic when it comes to the Vegapunk. So I think Vegapunk dying could lead to a crazy final war, and that could be the trigger. This incident could be a great trigger, kind of how like Cobra died. And remember how Whitebeard talked about pretty much at Marineford, once the One Piece is found, a great war will happen, and that's Luffy finding the One Piece and completing Joy Boy's will that Roger couldn't do because he was too early. But last but not certainly least, whether it's Monkey D. Dragon or Imu or any of these things, I think what really will make this incident crazy is if we see the Grand Fleet show up. Yes, I'm talking about Bartolomeo, Cavendish, and the rest of the gang. We know that promise that was made in chapter 799. They said a great incident, of course, will happen where these guys will become so famous. I think this is the perfect time. Them saving their Yonko Captain Luffy against this crazy Marine backed force. Don't forget, this is Marineford level fighting right now when it comes to the Marines. So seeing the fleet, kind of how Whitebeard had his fleet, that would be to me a fan favorite thing to see. The Grand Fleet against the Marines. I want it badly. I thought I'd drop a bonus feature, and that's Rob Lucci. Rob Lucci today is the bonus feature, and I personally believe Rob Lucci of CP0 might die during this Egghead incident after learning some important truth revolving around the Void Century, which Kaku will feel very, very, affected by this. Now, this is just speculation, but seeing Rob Lucci team up with Luffy, seeing Kaku team up with Zoro, this is something where Ichiro Oda is going down a path of which I'm curious. We already see Sentomaru change teams. Now we're seeing Rob Lucci and Kaku changing teams, fighting the Seraphim. All I'm thinking is this is to show Luffy's skill of bringing his enemies to allies like he did Crocodile Marineford. So honestly, the hype is real. I personally believe Rob Lucci might die, and I think Kaku might survive. Now you're probably wondering, how will Rob Lucci die? I'm thinking he will sacrifice himself against either the Gorosei Saturn or the Admiral Kizaru. He's an awakened beast with haki, and he didn't even go all out yet. Though we do know he is not Yonko level like Luffy, he is at least vice captain to a Yonko level, in my personal opinion, to even, clash with Gear 5th Luffy. But yeah, when it comes to the Egghead incident, we right now don't know what's going to happen, but I definitely feel like all these are definitely possibilities. But I think the best scenario to me personally is the Grand Fleet showing up for the Yonko Luffy, and of course Luffy and Saturn having some sort of interaction. I think Vegapunk dying could be the key trigger to this incident that leads to the final war, and Vegapunk already gave us so much information. We got a lot of information about the Delphoid abilities, the ancient weapons, not really ancient weapons, but the Void Sentry, and that huge robot. I think that huge robot could definitely come into play too when it comes to helping out the Straw Hat Pirates. But personally, I want to say this is all just built up to Elbaf, where Shanks and Kid are now duking it out, and I believe the road poneglyphs are going to be a hot commodity with Blackbeard, Law, Kid, Shanks, and now Luffy, the race of the One Piece. And don't forget about Cross Guild. But as a fan, I'm loving this, guys. I can't lie to you guys. I'm loving where One Piece is going right now. The hype is real. Tell me your thoughts down in the comment section down below. I love seeing the support. Love seeing the comments. Like and share if you enjoyed. Like and share only if you enjoyed. And subscribe for more One Piece content. I'm the LegendMac, and I'm gone.